Hi there and good afternoon. I'm Eric Chilton. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Hey, the whole team is here today. We got Maddie, Chad, and Jalen.
And Maddie, I feel like you always ask us at the beginning of the newscast, are we going to behave today?
I usually have to because you never know what's going to happen. Now, fortunately, Christian Morgan has the day off, so that removes one of the troublemakers from the group. But then we added Jalen, which I think is even worse.
It is worse.
But I know Jalen will be with us on the live chat on the Facebook live stream. That's always a fun time, right, Maddie?
Yes, and you can find us on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. By the way, we have a pretty exclusive Facebook group called the 4 to 5 Club that you can request access to, so you can check that out as well.
I'm not even a part of that.
You're not yet.
You're not cool enough.
Very exclusive.
You have to pass a test. I'm just kidding. There is no test. But we would love for you to join us there. Well, let's get right into the news of the day. You know, there is no denying the impact that the pandemic has had on locally owned businesses in the Triad. A U.S. Chamber of Commerce poll shows 1 in 4 small businesses are on the brink of permanently closing in our state. Nearly 98% of North Carolina businesses are small. It's why they are launching a campaign on social media to encourage people to support local. Mark Brazel, the tournament director of the Wyndham Championship, says we all have a part to play right now.
So I think these next 4 months are very important for us to push and have a true campaign around the Triad to try to get as many people as possible to buy local.
So that push is coming online in the form of the hashtag Triad Together. When you shop at a small or eat at a local business, you can post a picture using that hashtag. It's ought to raise awareness for local shops, but it could also mean good news for you. On the 2nd and 4th Fridays of each month through May, the Wyndham Championship is giving away free swag to people who use the hashtag and follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That could be you. Brazel says it is a great way to bring everyone together.
I love the idea, and we've really tried this with the Wyndham Championship. I love the Triad collaborative effort that, you know, all the towns and the cities are kind of working together on this, which has been very helpful and successful.
So you could win free Wyndham Championship gear if you use that hashtag, and then if you tag people in your post, you are entered to win more time. So it's a good incentive there, but as always, the real incentive is just making sure our neighbors are supported during this time.
Right.
It's something that we've done on the 4 to 5 since the pandemic. It's kind of been a focus, especially of mine. I try to feature as much local stuff as I can. I think all of us are thinking about the numbers of, I mean, yeah, big corporations do their thing, but the numbers of small businesses are huge across our state. They really are the lifeblood of the area. So we try to promote it as much as possible.
And who doesn't want free Wyndham Championship
I know.
swag? I know when I go to the tournament, I mean, you have to walk through this huge gift shop and everything in there looks awesome.
One of my favorite cups that I have, it's one of those thermal cups that keeps things hot and cold, is from that gift shop. And by the way, I did ask him about the championship this year because, you know, last year they couldn't have fans, and he says they are hopeful. So that made me hopeful because it's one of my favorite events.
It's weird. So the Waste Management Open is happening, and one of my friends works there and showed the video yesterday where there are just no people.
It's weird.
And as you know, the Waste Management Open, I mean, that is a party.
It's a big one.
Yeah, and it's not happening this year. But we all know why it is not happening this year, and we're talking more about coronavirus right now. We're tracking some alarming news this afternoon. Wake Forest University says it's confirmed more than 150 new coronavirus cases in just the past 2 days. Starting tomorrow, the university will have new safety measures in place, including grab-and-go dining. No visitors will be allowed in residence halls, and all student organizations and extracurriculars will be virtual.
The director of the CDC says schools can safely reopen even if teachers are not vaccinated for COVID-19. CDC data shows social distancing and wearing a mask can significantly reduce the spread of the virus in school settings. The White House COVID-19 coordinator, Jeff Zients, called on Congress to pass additional funding to make sure schools have the resources they need to reopen.
Now, as schools consider re-entry, they're looking at the data. Hospitalizations, a big one. And we saw another encouraging drop today. 2,630 North Carolinians are in the hospital with the virus. This is the 9th consecutive day that this number has dropped. And it's 93 fewer than yesterday and more than 1,300 fewer than our record we set just 3 weeks ago. Now, if you watch us every day, you know I share the daily numbers, then provide context to what I'm seeing. You're not going to get this kind of visual breakdown from any other Triad news outlet. Just giving a laundry list of the day's numbers is not useful and doesn't help you visualize where we are in the pandemic.
Well, as the pandemic stretches on, we are also learning more about the long-term impacts of having coronavirus. 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe spent weeks tracking the latest research for you.
And here's what that research is finding. Out of every 100 coronavirus survivors, researchers say anywhere between 2 to 7 of them will have long-term impacts on their bodies. One of the most common symptoms, according to a Harvard Medical School professor, is something called brain fog.
So when someone is trying to, figure out like the answer to a difficult problem, or maybe they're like working on a new software program or trying to learn a new app on their phone, those types of activities would be a little bit more difficult.
We're digging into all the other long-term impacts of coronavirus, find out what causes them and what worries medical researchers the most. Tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up, people are worried about how increased screen time during the pandemic will impact their eyes. Since the pandemic started, the average screen time per person has spiked to more than 13 hours a day, according to iSafe Nielsen. 60% of people in a recent survey said they're worried about their eyes. Doctors say to use the 20-20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. After that, close your eyes for 20 seconds. The number of Americans seeking first-time jobless aid dipped last week, with layoffs continuing at historically high levels. 779,000 people applied for unemployment last week. That's a drop of 33,000 from the previous week and the lowest single-week number since November. Another 348,000 applied for pandemic unemployment assistance. Altogether, more than 1 million people filed for some sort of assistance. New data from Oxford and AstraZeneca shows that their COVID-19 vaccine not only can prevent people from getting the virus, but could also help reduce the spread of it. Research shows there was a nearly 70% reduction in positive tests up to 12 weeks after getting the first dose. Oxford, Pfizer, and Moderna's vaccines have all shown strong signs of preventing infection, but this is the first time evidence has shown that it can help stop the spread of the virus.
So when we look at temperatures out there, not all that bad today, really, was it? I mean, upper 40s, low 50s, kind of the average for just about everybody. Good stuff. Reidsville at 50 right now. We have 52 in Burlington, 48 in Greensboro, 50 in High Point and Winston-Salem at 47. So tonight, dropping down to 37. We could see a little shower or two late. We'll show you that in a minute. The front passing by overnight. Maybe some morning rain, but then a quicker clear out, and 53 for the high temperature tomorrow. That's actually fairly comfortable. Clouds are building in now. You can see some of that rain. We think a lot of that not reaching the ground just yet, but you could see a little drizzle here or there. Notice that the majority of the precipitation with that particular system resides more to the north. You see the low moving by the Great Lakes, but that trailing cold front, what's left of it, will move across our area. That's tomorrow morning. I stopped it there at about 6:10 in the morning, and you can see that front going through the mountain areas, and ahead of that, a couple of showers for us. So maybe a little bit of a rainy start to your Friday morning, but after that, high pressure moves in, clears us out. I think Saturday looks really good. Now, Sunday, we're going to watch. It's a little early to make this call, but if you look on the top left corner of that graphic, it says Arctic cold. That's going to come down as that low pressure moves north and east. For now, we're going to hold and just say that you might see some big wet snowflakes mixed in with some rain, but no real accumulation. The high is, the low rather, Sunday morning is 33 and the high is 45. So it might be something nice to look at, but then we'll be in good shape. Upper 40s and low 50s for the next 3 days with a little rain Tuesday and Wednesday.